Speaking of someone who probably needs some prayer, because apparently Smokey Robinson's old ass is out here wilding, like on some Diddy shit. No, did he do it? I don't know. But apparently 4 women said, some of whom were housekeepers. Listen, man, it's been a tough day for some of these stories. So I'm going to get these jokes off somewhere. Okay. But so please excuse us and get to the tag of the show. But the point is that 4 women who were working for Smokey said that Smokey smoked their boots, apparently, like without their consent. In terms of, they were working for him over the course, in some cases, like 12 up to like 2 decades, multiple decades. But they said that there were times when he was left alone with them, that he was taking it, you know what I'm saying? Like, without consent, and that he was leveraging apparently like their status, because they mentioned they were fearful of reprisal, which included something about immigration. So one can kind of surmise maybe that Maria wasn't feeling it from jump and kind of only stuck around because she didn't want to get deported. At least that's kind of how I was reading. That's not me saying that. That's what it said in the story, which is crazy because Smokey's like 1,000 years old. He just dropped the album not too long ago. I think a new album. And then before that, he was giving gasms out. So maybe he's not that old. But what are your thoughts in regards to Smokey and the Bandit? Because apparently his wife was in on it too, according to his lawsuit. You know what I'm saying? They were a tag team situation. Shout out to her for holding it down. She's a ride or die for real. But what are your thoughts in regards, if true, of course, in joking, what are your thoughts about Smokey cleaning up with the housekeepers, allegedly? That came so last minute. I still had to do it. I couldn't stop myself in mid-moment. But with that being said, so what do you guys' thought in regards to this very serious case in regards to Smokey Robinson's accusations and the 4 housekeepers?
I, for one, am sad. I'm very sad. I like Smokey. I've always liked, I thought Smokey was a cool dude, man. He was a player. He gave me some great jams. Now, at first, my first question when I heard this story, I was like, dang, at the same time, he was a player. But no, that's not as inappropriate. So, but it was over a period of time, which does lend some, does show maybe a pattern of behavior, which is definitely, a smoking gun, if you will. Let me put my shades on twice for this. So listen, if the story was that they were afraid that their immigration or the naturalization status was going to be a problem, and that's why they didn't come forward. But they picked Trump's second presidency to come out and say something. That alone, I throw it out. Throw it out, Your Honor. Throw it out. I'm off. Y'all go ahead. I land.
They might have their papers by now, Jay. It's been 20 years. She was like, oops, now I sure have my revenge.
In Peru, Trump don't care if you got papers. He don't care. He'll sing anyway. No, ma'am. So I don't know. He's old now. And the guy, his attorney's like, hey, we got to charge this guy $50 million or $80 million to make sure this never happens again. Oh, I think he's 80 years old. I think the amount is $50 million. The numbers in my head, they got kind of jumbled. But you're going to, wait. First off, he's too old to harass anybody other than a pill bottle. And it's doing him more damage than he's doing it. So this is I don't know. It's a money grab. Honestly, I think they're trying to leave the country and they want some money to go before they go. Like now, all these years, he's old now. How are you stopping him? His hips couldn't even do anyway. Okay. So like I said, I put my shades on 2 times and I hush.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like to get involved in the elder abuse. I don't know if you've seen Smokey's latest show, man. It is really hard to watch. I mean, the hip movement is very disturbing, and I can't unsee it. That's why Jay got his shades on. Terrible. The waiting this long is very problematic. I don't know how you work past him being a sympathetic figure. He's 185 years old. I mean, he's 85, but still, hey, you know what? Coming after the elderly when they're 15 minutes away from dying. Can he take the money with him? No, I get that. But still, the guy's gonna be dead in 20 minutes. I mean, what's the point? I don't get it. Let him shuffle, let him rock his new. The hips only go like this far. You can't move too because throw a hip on stage and then you're not gonna get any money. So this is weird. Tia, what do you think?
Mo Kelly's old ass needs to probably sit down somewhere. This has been going on for 20 years, so I'm assuming that when it started, maybe something was still working and operating as it normally would for him at that point. But I was interested to know that they waited so long. And of course, we talked about power dynamics all day. So maybe they didn't want to give up the money that they were getting in the moment, or there was some kind of contract that they were working under. I don't necessarily think it's a money grab. I do think that people wait till they're not as much as risk to be able to expose someone. So, I mean, one of the songs on his album was "It Still Gets Hard." So, can I say that I'm not between the hip shaking and "It Still Gets Hard"? I'm not really surprised that Smokey is a nasty ass freak, right? Smokey needs to know how to keep his hands to himself. I was also a little thrown off by the wife being complicit. Like she knew. I don't know if she was the one posing the threats, like go down the hallway and shut up. I don't know what was said, but the fact that she had a part in it and they were two old ass people is even more disgusting because it's like y'all 1/4 past, and this time, what are we both doing? And for both you guys to be hustling me and figuring out how to hunch on me is a little bit scary. So I'm hoping that the victims get some reprieve, whether it be monetarily or otherwise.
So I'm going to say that I was disappointed when I first heard this news because I had a certain, image about Smokey. I still remember when he was the singing cruising and I was just like, all right now, this the man that wrote almost every song that was played at the aunties' weddings and so forth, at every family reunion, you got at least one of his songs being played. And then to hear that he was an old freak and perverted and I won't even say perverted because I don't know what happened. And sex is sex, depending on where you're at. But what I will say is this, is that it's concerning because people assume just because he's old, it doesn't mean he's not a predator because young predators become old predators. They don't stop predating just because they old and their shit them wrinkled up and they don't got some damn big balls because they might got prostate cancer. I don't know. But they don't stop doing what they're doing just because they're old. As a matter of fact, old predators find other ways to victimize people because their nature is to be a predator. So if this is all true, because he's claiming that this is a money grab as well, and I will agree that they may have picked the wrong time to come out, but they probably figured he's old and fragile and won't fight the case any longer, and they probably figure they have nothing to lose because it is this current administration. They probably figure in the next 5 minutes they're going to be deported, but let them get some money on their way out the door. That could be the case. But I don't want to take away from the fact that I feel like this is another case of a rich, famous, and powerful person who got to go unchecked for years just because of their position. And with the wife being complicit, that also confirms that she may have felt like it was her duty to make sure he got some booty. She could have been choosing the people and not knowing, and they're not knowing that the reason why she's choosing them was because it was illegal, was because they're immigrant, knew they had something to lose, and that could be something that they could hold over their head. So if Smokey go down, she need to go down too. You know what I'm saying? And because I think that's disgusting when the women participate in this type of activity. And I think it speaks a lot to their character. So I'm going to wait to see what happens because it is a civil case because they didn't file criminally. We already got the reasons why they didn't file criminally, but I'm just like, come on, Smoke. Come on. You too old for this. And if you still over there, and I did see that last performance. And I was like, okay, Gramps. But the key word is Gramps. And matter of fact, you might be a great grandpa at this point. So great grandpa, it's okay.